Have you ever signed up for a competition and realized that understanding how you stack up against your opponent would help you prepare? Astrology is such a great tool for understanding relationship dynamics. And as Kamala Harris and Donald Trump prepare for their debate on September 10th, astrology can help us understand the advantages and challenges each one may face when they meet, perhaps for the very first time. This is part 2 of a 3-part series about the debate. To check out part 1, just see the caption below. I'm Panda Hershey, and I use astrology to coach entrepreneurs and their teams on how to best use their tools and talents to make decisions and take action to allow their personal lives and their businesses to thrive. In part 1 of this series, you got to see that Kamala is the initiator in their interactions. She has an opportunity right off the bat to unsettle Donald, and from there, he plays catch-up. Like I did in part 1, I will continue to use their tools and talents tables based on their natal charts to continue to describe their interactions. But as a reminder, these tables essentially describe how they experience life, from surface energy at the top to their deepest energy at the bottom. As I mentioned before, when they get to policy, Kamala will need to be careful not to be too dry or too clever. All that Virgo energy here in the 10 to 19 degree range is giving her the inspiration to keep overworking what she has to say. And Donald, on the other hand, will get to play off her words, but it will be to his advantage to focus on his partnership, this Libra energy, on his partnership with J.D. Vance and what they can do together, rather than focusing on his relationship with Kamala. And as we move into the deeper energies, where their tools are 20 degrees and higher, you can see that both of them have a lot of this deep energy. The format of the debate and the degree to which the interviewers allow both of them to get into it will determine how much of this deep energy we get to see from them. But this is where it can get very interesting. This deeper energy has the feel of, I'm just going to put it all out there, or I'm not holding anything back. And on the evening of the debate, when we watch, we'll be able to feel whether we are actually at these deeper energies and whether this debate is actually going to tell us anything meaningful. So, as we move into these deeper energies, it is Donald who will be kicking that off. And he's got this North Node in Gemini and the Moon in Sagittarius. So look for him to latch onto the details, as he should, to pay attention to those bullet points that he wants to get across, and then that Moon in Sagittarius pulling it all together to say, this is where I'm going to lead you. An example of this would be, I'm going to enact this policy that has bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, and because of this, I'm going to be able to, or we're going to hit this goal of protecting families, protecting jobs, something like that. Notice that at the same time, Kamala has this Mars in Leo, snuggled right in here between his moon and his sun. And this will be the moment where she is tempted to jump in and defend herself. And this is where a muted mic will actually help her if she doesn't have the self-control to hold back. But what she needs to realize is that her ability to jump in is so limited because she only has this one tool in this string of tools that Donald has. And so her ability to jump in and say anything and to put that commitment to offering her gifts so that they are received is very short-lived. So it would benefit her to have a very quick go-to phrase of, this is what I am trying to do, and not be defensive. So once Kamala has had that brief Mars energy flash for a bit, it goes right back to Donald. And that sun, his mindful action of attuning to the details, and then this Saturn in Cancer, his discernment or a focusing of his intuition. And this may be the point at which he is talking through and listing a lot of facts, and the energy of the interviewers actually comes in to limit and say, we're cutting you off right here. And then it becomes Kamala's turn. And notice that she has these three tools. This path forward, this Jupiter in Taurus, through what she has to offer, through her presence, and immediately that stepping away, her ascendant in Gemini, to again go to policy, an important policy at this point, and being able to lay out the important details. All this while, like when Kamala had her Mars in Leo amidst all of Donald's tools, Donald here, as Kamala is talking about this, can simply stand there and be noticed. And people will likely look to him to see what he is doing and how he's responding as she talks through all of this. And if the format of the debate allows them to keep going deeper, the mic goes back to Donald. And here he continues with this appreciation, this receiving his intuition, of tapping into his intuition. And wherever that intuition is where it will lead him then to commit to what he is most proud of. Again, if he is focused on his policies and the things that he's going to do, if he wins the election and what he has to offer, that will be the best thing that he can do. If he focuses on something else that distracts from his important points, then this won't be as helpful for, quote, winning the debate. And Donald is very used at this point to being able to put his commitment out there and simply stand there and receive the attention and appreciation of what he offers, especially at his rallies. But Kamala still has a few tools here. And what is it that she's got? She's got this full moon energy of this instinct to bring something important to people's attention, and immediately at the same time, this sun in Libra, mindful action of let's do this together. So it might be you and me, the viewer. It could also be Tim and me, the partnership. And it's interesting here that her Saturn in Aquarius is the very last tool she has. This is the discernment of exactly what she's troubleshooting as wrong with the status quo. It's like the very last thing that she always comes to is, this is the way. This is the one or two ways we are going to fix it. And really nailing it, in her opinion, on the head. And when we flip over to Donald, he is still there, but at this point, he has no tools to offer. He is there, and then he gets to step away when it's all over. So it may feel as though Kamala gets the last word of the evening. So this is not a shoo-in for either candidate. Kamala has an advantage in the beginning, but she needs to be careful about not being too dry or too clever. And she shouldn't let Donald's words get to her. And she needs to be very tight and focused when she gets to those points about her policy that are really hitting more of the real nitty-gritty that people do care about. For Donald, he should be focusing on the correct relationship the whole debate. If he can somehow completely ignore that Kamala is there, he will do much better to simply focus on the work he intends to do with JD and move from that space and that topic. Kamala will have a few opportunities to poke at him, and he will need to simply be cool in order to do well. In my next video, I'll talk about the energy of the actual day and how it may tip the scales one way or the other. Let me know if you have any questions and if you are ready to use astrology to improve your relationships and deepen your connections with the people in your life. Check out the caption below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.